My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love. As you will see this, it's going to be on both channels. This is microwave radiation, brain function, and the shadow of mind control, a deep dive into military and psychological manipulation by Jason Gray. The modern world is awash in microwave radiation, from the phones in our pockets, in my case, my hand, to the radar systems used by militaries. These frequencies, ranging from 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz, are an omnipresent force in daily life. While their role in telecommunications and cooking is well understood, their effects on the human brain remain a subject of deep concern. A growing body of research suggests that microwave radiation can induce structural changes in the brain, alter cognitive function, and even manipulate behavior. When combined with known psychological phenomena such as mass formation psychosis, it is clear that microwave exposure is not just a health concern, it is a potential tool for control. Governments and military organizations have long been aware of this. And that's very true. I remember years ago when I first read about their use of it in the desert during the first Gulf War. What was that? 2003, I want to say. Governments and military have long been aware of this. Decades of classified research have sought to weaponize electromagnetic fields, not just for physical incapacitation, but for behavioral influence and mind control. While the public narrative remains focused, pardon me, on the safety of cell phones and wireless technologies, beneath the surface lies a more sinister application of microwave-based neurological interface. And this has really been demonstrated in many different programs that I have been aware of myself. Let's examine the convergence of microwave radiation's effects on the brain, its potential role in mass psychological conditioning, and how military organizations may already be exploiting these technologies for human manipulation. Microwave radiation and the brain, a scientific foundation for control. The article, Recent Advances in the Effects of Microwave Radiation on Brains. And it says see link in comments. So I know that this particular one that I have that I'm reading from right here was one that he had in the Ancient Order of the Hermetics Facebook page. So unfortunately, the link that he's talking about here is long gone. As when he was asked to leave that group, they began systematically deleting all of his posts in there. And so unfortunately, we don't have that article, but I'm sure you can find it because I believe the article title is Recent Advances in the Effects of Microwave Radiation. As a matter of fact, I will see if I can find it. If I can find it, I will have linked it in the show more section of this video for you to go and check it out. The article highlights the many ways in which microwave exposure affects human neurobiology. Studies have demonstrated structural damage to the brain. Exposure to microwave radiation can lead to neuronal death. Neurons, I'm gathering, is what that means. Neuronal, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Neuronal death. Blood-brain barrier permeability, and synaptic dysfunction, particularly in the hippocampus, a region critical for memory and learning. Alterations in electrical activity. Electroencephalogram, EEG studies show that microwave radiation can disrupt the brain's natural electrical patterns, altering cognition and behavior. Cognitive impairment. Research has linked microwave exposure to memory loss, anxiety, depression, and other neurological disorders. Oxidative stress and apoptosis, which is cell death, by the way, just so we know, just so we're clear. Microwaves generate excessive reactive oxygen species. Yeah, species. Let me just say this. I got rid of my microwave oven more than 10 years ago because of what it does. It changes the molecular makeup of the food. And I highly recommend, if you're still using a microwave for the convenience of it all, I've decided I'd rather either eat my food cold or not at all. Because it was only over years of collecting puzzle pieces that I put it together, that when I read that the microwave changes the molecular makeup of the food, I knew it was true, because the unshatterable Corelle dishes that are oven proof, refrigerator proof, all the things, I had a plate shatter on me, and it just taking it out of the microwave and setting it on my counter. That should never happen, because it's supposed to be all the things: microwave, oven, freezer, all that. It's specific to be, but you see, it changes the molecular makeup, and over time, it changed the molecular makeup of that Corelle so long. That's the only thing I can come to about that. And that happened to me, and I still used a microwave because I didn't know any better back then. I just assumed that, oh, maybe I got it too hot or something. No, you can put those things in the oven. So at any rate, back to the article here, back to his writing. Microwaves generate excessive reactive oxygen species, ROS, leading to neuronal damage and potentially triggering long-term neurodegenerative effects. Changes in gene expression and energy metabolism. Exposure can affect stress response in genes, neurotransmitter regulation, and mitochondrial function, impairing cognitive abilities. Taken together, these effects suggest that microwave radiation is not just passive environmental exposure, but a powerful force capable of reshaping human thought, behavior, and perception. And I'm sorry, but if applied intentionally, that was me. I wanted to say something, but I'm going to finish this part here. If applied intentionally, such effects could be harnessed for large-scale social engineering. Think about what we're seeing in certain places right now, where large-scale folks are going out and what they're claiming as peaceful protests are anything but, and most of it doesn't make a whole lick of sense. Mass formation psychosis and electromagnetic manipulation. The concept of mass formation psychosis, a phenomenon where large groups of people are psychologically entranced into irrational behavior, has been widely debated in recent years. While this has traditionally been attributed to social pressures, propaganda, and fear-based narratives, the role of electromagnetic influences is rarely discussed. Could the alteration of brain function through microwave exposure enhance susceptibility to mass formation psychosis? If a population's neural activity is subtly altered through chronic exposure to electromagnetic frequencies, could this lower their critical thinking ability, increase compliance, and heighten emotional responses to fear-based narratives? Consider the following. EEG studies confirm that microwave radiation disrupts normal brainwave activity, meaning it can influence perception and susceptibility to suggestion. Oxidative stress impairs cognitive function, potentially reducing an individual's ability to critically analyze information or resist psychological pressure. Microwave-induced anxiety and depression could make populations more vulnerable to control mechanisms such as fear-based propaganda or authoritative messaging. If mass formation psychosis is about inducing a trance-like state in a population, then microwave exposure, whether through 5G networks, Wi-Fi, or directed energy weapons, could serve as the physiological foundation for such control. Military applications. From mind control to behavior modification, the use of microwave radiation for military and psychological warfare is not theoretical. It has been actively studied for decades. Historical precedents. Number 1, the Moscow Signal, 1953 to 1976. During the Cold War, the U.S. discovered that the Soviet Union was directing microwave radiation at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. Although initially dismissed, later investigations suggested the radiation could have been used for espionage, behavior modification, or even psychological warfare. Number 2, Project Pandora, 1960s through 1970s. The CIA and U.S. military experimented with low-intensity microwave exposure on humans, examining its potential to affect mood, cognitive function, and even induce hallucinations. Number 3, silent sound spread spectrum, SSSS, a technology reportedly developed for psychological operations. SSSS allegedly uses microwaves and audio modulation to implant thoughts or emotions into the subconscious. Number 4, active denial system, ADS. U.S. military openly acknowledges its use of directed energy weapons such as ADS, which emits high-frequency microwaves to cause intense pain and disorientation, essentially disabling a target without physical injury. Number 5, MK Ultra and electronic stimulation of the brain, ESB. Declassified CIA projects from the MK Ultra era investigated stimulation, a precursor to modern directed energy technologies. Modern applications. Subtle but effective control. The evolution of microwave-based psychological warfare has not stopped, while early experiments focused on high-intensity exposure. Today's strategies likely rely on chronic low-level exposure to induce long-term changes in public perception, mood, and cognitive ability. 5G networks and mass exposure. Unlike previous wireless generations, 5G operates at higher microwave frequencies, 24 to 100 gigahertz, increasing the potential for neurological effects. Could the widespread rollout of 5G be unintentionally or intentionally affecting brain function on a global scale? I want to pause here and say this. During Trump's first term, there was a lot done to get rid of the equipment that Huawei, I'm probably not saying that right, a particular company that was doing a lot of the 5G network towers. There was a lot made of that, and I know that they had to go in and take some things down, and Trump made it so that they couldn't be used. And I suspected then, I even said as much, that was because he knew that that stuff had that capability. Now, I don't know that for a fact by any stretch of the imagination, but I do recall that he signed an executive order banning their equipment and not allowing any of it. And there was some big merger that was going to happen with another American company and Huawei, and he put a kibosh on that. And I always suspected that it had to do with the 5G stuff and knowing that it wasn't good. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But back to the article here. Targeted individual programs. Many individuals claim to be, quote, targeted by electromagnetic harassment, reporting symptoms such as tinnitus, sudden mood swings, memory impairment, and even auditory hallucinations. While dismissed as conspiracy theories, these symptoms align precisely with known effects of microwave exposure. I'm going to stop here and say that there's been several shootings that, and because I recall this a long time ago, something about my ELF weapon being carved into the butt of a rifle of somebody. Oh, it was the man who shot up the naval shipyard in Maryland, I believe it was. That was, God, that's been probably 10 years ago now, 8 to 10 years ago. But also, I remember there was a woman who was trying to wanted to run Obama actually over in her car. And she was saying that there were people in her head telling her what to do. Now, I know everybody will say, well, yeah, but that person's crazy. I'm just saying, maybe not, is all I'm saying, right? Everything is possible. Nothing is what it seems. I wouldn't put it past the military, the whole shebang. I just wouldn't. And those who want control will do anything and stop at nothing to get control. And the only way out of it, in my view, is to become sovereign in oneself. See the other recording that I did today. So, smart cities and behavioral engineering. With cities becoming increasingly dependent on wireless infrastructure, electromagnetic exposure is rising exponentially. If certain frequencies can influence emotional states, could smart cities be used for large-scale mood and behavior regulation? The future. Where does this lead? If microwave radiation is being used as a tool for behavioral control, mass compliance, and psychological warfare, then the implications are profound. The evidence suggests a multi-layered assault on human consciousness, one that combines social, technological, and neurological manipulation. We are entering an era where mind control is no longer science fiction, but an emerging reality. The combination of electromagnetic brain modulation, psychological manipulation, and advanced surveillance technologies could lead to a world where populations are subtly guided to think, feel, and behave in ways that serve corporate and governmental interests. Cognitive dissent is reduced not through outright force, but through silent biological intervention. Mass formation psychosis is engineered, creating societies that are docile, compliant, and incapable of questioning authority. Awareness is the key to resistance. I feel that's a true statement right there. Microwave radiation is not just a technological byproduct of modern life. It is a tool with the potential to influence thought, behavior, and perception. While its role in telecommunications is undeniable, its effects on the brain function demand greater scrutiny. Military and intelligence agencies have long studied how electromagnetic waves can be used for control, and the widespread adoption of wireless technology presents an unprecedented opportunity for subtle but effective mass manipulation. If we are to maintain sovereignty over our own minds, understanding and resisting these influences is critical. The greatest weapon against mind control is awareness, knowing how these systems work, recognizing their effects, and actively seeking ways to protect cognitive liberty. The future of human consciousness depends on it. Well, I feel as though, and again, just my 2 cents, he's right about that. However, nothing can be done to any of us without our consent. In my view, this has always been my feeling. And do you think it's possible to give consent without really knowing that you have? Yes, yes, it is. In my view, again, just my view, just my thoughts, by my knowing that nothing is as it seems and trusting nothing and knowing that my larger self has all of this in hand and trusting in that, none of it really matters one way or the other. At least that's the way it feels for me. I'm certainly not going to sit and rub my hands and worry about, what's flying through the air, because it's always been there and it will always be there. I just don't consent to it changing me. Until we meet again, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is a matter of your perspective and your perception of your perspective. And maybe if you're not feeling very joyous in the moment, there's a reason for it. And if you just change your perspective, you may just find there's another more joyous way forward. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.